So let me get this straight. Two guys make videos roasting Star Trek Starfleet Academy, and the Mary Sue responds by basically screaming, "You're not real Star Trek fans!" Because apparently in 2026, fandom isn't about watching the show. It's about passing a political background check and receiving a certificate of moral purity from an internet blog. Now, this even gets more unhinged. And here's the line that says the quiet part out loud. "You're a Republican/MAGA personality. Star Trek was never yours." Oh, yes. The classic Star Trek message. Diversity, tolerance, exploration. Well, that is unless you're voting wrong. And the funniest part of all this article isn't even a defense of the show. It's a full-on gatekeeping meltdown aimed at Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic because they're popular and they didn't clap like trained seals. So let's break it down. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Critical Nerd. If you're a returning subscriber, I humbly say thank you. Welcome home. Appreciate your support. And you already know the deal. We bring receipts, sarcasm, and we translate Hollywood PR into English. And if you're new here, thanks for stopping by and welcome. Because apparently liking Star Trek the wrong way gets you put on a list now. Also, if you would, this helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Smash that like button because it helps this video outrank the same outlets that keep telling you everything is amazing while the audience quietly disappears like a red shirt on an away mission. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. So, the Mary Sue, they run a piece titled, "Those Dudebros mad at Starfleet Academy aren't actually Star Trek fans." And right there, Dudebros. You already know what time it is. This isn't, "Here's why the critics are wrong." This is, "Here's why the critics are invalid." They call out Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic specifically and frame them as right-wing figureheads who hate everything left-leaning, then hit you with the big conclusion. Star Trek was never for them, which is kind of wild if you think about it. Because Star Trek is a franchise that spans decades. In fact, this year's the 60th anniversary. Multiple eras. And millions of fans across every demographic and worldview imaginable. But now we have a new rule. Star Trek is apparently a members-only club, and your entry badge is a political alignment check. Then it pivots into the purity test angle. You can buy every Star Trek toy out there. Doesn't mean you understand Star Trek. I think this was tried before. The same person that wrote this article, Rachel Leishman, she did the same thing to Gary, Nerdrotic himself, when it came to, I think it was either Doctor Who or, what was the other thing? Oh, Lord of the Rings. So she's tried this before. And that's where it gets really hilarious, because their whole argument keeps orbiting around the same thing. A Spock doll. Yeah. A Spock action figure sitting in a chair became a symbol of this whole controversy because it got attention. It got laughs. It became a meme. And instead of asking, "Why is this meme beating our hype?" the response is, "Actually, the audience is just stupid." Here's where the article really jumps to warp speed. It basically says, if you're conservative or if you're MAGA, then Star Trek doesn't align with your values. Therefore, it was never yours. That's not criticism. That's not analysis. That's just ideological gatekeeping. And the irony? These are the same circles that spent years saying gatekeeping is toxic and fandom is for everyone. But the second you criticize the wrong show, suddenly you've got bouncers at the door like it's a nightclub. "Sorry, sir, your politics are showing. You can't come in here." And to be clear, fans aren't arguing. Star Trek can't be progressive. Star Trek has always tackled social themes. The argument is there's a difference between thoughtful storytelling that explores ideas and ham-fisted messaging that sacrifices story for preaching. Classic Trek could challenge you without talking down to you. It could debate ideas without turning every scene into a lecture. But the modern defense strategy isn't the writing is great. It's if you don't like it, you're a bad person. And that's not how you win people over. That's how you burn the fandom down. The Mary Sue also tries to prove the point by invoking Trek history, like the Kirk Uhura kiss, treating as the ultimate evidence that Trek was always socially progressive. And sure, that moment is part of Trek history and a famous cultural touchstone. But here's what's happening rhetorically. They're using Trek history like a weapon, like a stamp that says, because Trek did progressive storytelling in the past, you must automatically agree with our framing today. And if you don't, you're not a real fan. That's not fandom. That's a marketing slogan with a phaser. The bigger issue isn't trivia. It's the way history gets used as a shield against criticism of the current product. Now, Geeks and Gamers responds, calling this what it is. That's a meltdown. And their framing is basically mainstream outlets go into battle mode to protect perception. And when big creators criticize the show, the response isn't rebuttal, it's character assassination. And here's the part that's so obvious it hurts. If the show is actually incredible, you don't need to yell, "Not real fans." You let the show speak. But if the show is shaky, you can't defend the product, so you attack the audience. And we've seen this playbook across franchises. Star Wars, Marvel, DC, you name it. Here's how it works. Step 1, change the tone and priorities of the fan base. Step 2, fans complain about it. Step 3, media labels fans toxic. Step 4, numbers dip. Step 5, media says the dip is because fans are toxic. It's a loop, a self-fulfilling prophecy. What makes it even worse is how often modern franchise defenders admit, directly or indirectly, that the new era isn't always franchise first, it's often message first. And the franchise is the delivery system. So when fans say, "Hey, this doesn't feel like Star Trek," they're not crazy. They're noticing a shift. And instead of hearing that feedback, the response is, "Shut up, fake fan." Let me put this in normal person terms. Those are for you in the back or the normies out there that might be just catching on a little bit. Imagine you run a restaurant. People show up, take one bite and go, "Yeah, this isn't good." And your response is, "Well, those aren't real food lovers." You'd be bankrupt by Friday. But entertainment media has convinced itself it can bully audiences into liking things by shaming them. And that strategy never works because ideology can't replace story and insults can't replace quality. The more outlets write pieces like this, the more people go, "Wait, why are they so mad?" Then they look up Drinker, they look up Nerdrotic, and they realize these aren't cartoon villains. They're just creators saying, "Hey, you know what? I love the franchise. I think the new stuff is weak, and here's why." And that honestly resonates more than gaslighting. So in a weird way, the Mary Sue is doing a free promo. Think about that for a second. So here's where I land in all this. If you like Starfleet Academy, awesome, good for you, enjoy it, seriously. But people should like what they like. But if your defense is, only bad people dislike it, then you're not defending Star Trek. You're defending a tribe. And the second you start telling people they're not real fans, you've already lost the argument. Because fandom isn't a political party. It's not a church. It's not a purity cult. It's people who love a thing and want it to be great again. Drop a comment down below. Do you think calling people fake fans ever helps? And is modern Trek criticism about politics or about quality? If you would, please, again, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit that notification bell, share this video out there with your friends and family. And with that, I'm the Critical Nerd, and I will see you later.